Строительство дома на вашем участке. Именно об этой теме сегодня поговорим и разберемся, какие варианты строительства дома на вашем участке. Первое– это строительство дома за наличные. В Южной Каролине разрешение достаточно просто получить в городе и самостоятельно построить дом за наличные. Если у вас в строительство дома вовлечен банк, скорее всего, вам понадобится строитель с лицензией, который предоставит необходимую информацию для банка, и банк уже оценит шансы, да, и оценит стоимость дома согласно проекта, который вы предлагаете. И на основании местоположения участка, а также проекта, который вы собираетесь строить, он сможет вам выдать сумму на строительство. Кредит, который выдается на строительство, называется construction loan или кредит на строительство дома. И зачастую и проще всего покупать участок и строить дом одновременно. Вы можете первое купить участок отдельно за наличные, это самый простой вариант. Можно также покупать одновременно участок и строить на нем дом. При этом у вас уже должен быть строитель, который предоставит всю информацию, запрошенную банком, чтобы вам выдали construction loan. Есть третий способ – это строительство с обычным видом займа. Это conventional или FHA, то есть традиционные виды займов, которые у вас на слуху. И тогда по факту строитель или строительная компания, в основном это большие строительные компании, они строят дом за свой счет на вашем участке и под вас, но вы получаете обычный вид займа, который обычно на практике получить немножко проще. Сейчас позвоним в строительную компанию, в местную, и посмотрим, как выглядит процесс строительства, сколько это стоит. Вот. Цифру строительства очень сложно получить, потому что очень часто все зависит, сумма или цена дома зависит от того, что вы хотите вкладывать в дом. Ну что, звоним строителю.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this Dakota?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
My name is Olga Bridges, Success Properties. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Amy shared your phone number saying that you can help with to be built on your lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm inquiring for one of my clients. They have a lot already, and I'm just curious what the process is going to look like and how much it's going to cost, how long it takes to build a house, things like that. If you can share some details on that.
Yeah, so the cost side is kind of a loaded question. There's not really an answer to that. So it would on our website. There's going to be a bunch of floor plans that are going to have a starting point that are all going to be a turnkey house, but none of that's going to include site work. So the house portion itself, you guys would have like that starting price point, and then obviously it just depends on what the client wants to ultimately put into the home, right? And then we would be taking a look at the site itself, and we could put together some site allowances and determine, what would need to happen to the lot as far as if there's a well, if there's septic, if there's clearing that needs to happen, grading work, that kind of thing. So we would then go through, build out a site allowance sheet, and then we kind of pair those two together, right? So every lot is going to be a little bit different, so it's kind of a case-by-case basis.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we are looking at probably around a 8 to 12 month turnaround time, depending on the project and what needs to happen on the lot. So we're looking at probably like a February, March deliver date for anything that we start here in the next couple of weeks. It's kind of the typical timeline that we're looking at. The lot that your client has, where's that at? What
In
county?
Spartanburg.
In Spartanburg?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an address for that lot?
I do not. I'm still waiting on the confirmation if they can subdivide the lot. They have a house on it, and it's a larger lot, so they're looking at subdivision, but I don't have the address as of now. But it's Spartanburg
Okay.
County. And what type of loan does it need to be?
Yeah, we typically would be working with if they have. I guess we would be doing a construction loan, right, for the build itself.
Mm-hmm.
With the house that they already have, would they be looking to then sell that and build a new one, or are they going to keep that and do something else with it? What was kind of their plan there?
They don't plan on selling it, so it will either be rented out or just they will get the equity from the house to work on the next project.
Gotcha. Okay. Then yeah, we'd probably just be looking at doing like a 2-time construction loan close. So they would come in, we would figure out total project, they would close on the front end, and then during the build process, they would be making interest-only payments
Okay.
while we take different draws, and then at the end we would close that second close, and that would be the converting that over to a traditional mortgage.
Okay, I got you. How much is the earnest money deposit?
Yeah, so we just have a $5,000 deposit, and that allows us to start the professional services.
Okay.
So that gets like a soil classifier out on site, surveys, all that kind of stuff. And then we have an additional deposit if they're looking to do like custom options and do anything like structural that is not within like the normal scope.
Okay.
So at most we would see is that 8,000, but the majority of our projects are just the 5.
Okay.
Do you know what they are looking to be turnkey with lot development, everything for the new house?
Not sure as of now. They did not apply for the loan yet. So that will depend on the amount they're ready to pay. So
Okay.
I'm not sure to answer. Do you have the preferred lender that you work with?
Yeah, we work with, let me write down your email. I can shoot this over to you. Second. What's a good email for you?
It's olgabridges85@gmail.com.
Bridges85. Okay. Yeah, I can email you over her contact, and then the thing that I would say, and this is just going to be a very rough generalization. Obviously, once we get a chance to look at the lot, we'll be able to kind of dive in a little bit deeper for you.
Okay.
But the majority of the time, the site prep is going to land somewhere in the like 50 to 70,000 range. Obviously, there's going to be projects that are higher than that. There's projects that are lower than that. But across the board, that's kind of a consistent number. So if they start doing a little bit of like digging on the website and looking at some of the floor plans, anything that you look at, I would just automatically probably add 60,000 to that as a placeholder, so that when they're looking for their budget, they can kind of pre-plan for that a little bit.
Okay. So if we don't go fancy, right, put in super expensive upgrades, if we're talking about the floor plan that is around 1,700, if you know the numbers are, what's, if they own the lot and we add this 50 to 70,000, what's your best estimate for a house that is 4 bedrooms, 17 to 1,900, if you have the numbers?
It's going to vary so much by floor plan, but let's go with you're saying 4 bedrooms?
Ideally, they're looking to have 5 if possible, but from what I was told, I'm not sure that they will qualify for a large home. So, but I don't know for a fact. So ideally 5 bedrooms. So what is the smallest 5 bedrooms, or maybe 4 and, a bonus room or something like that?
Yeah. Are they open to having master not on the main floor? Are they open to
They would prefer to have a bedroom, but if not, it's still okay.
Okay. If we're trying to hit like the 4 bedroom plus or having like a bonus room, then and trying to keep it in that kind of range in the back, I would say in the 2. All those are going to have to add a bonus too. I would say starting, we're probably looking at 230 to 250. We could probably kind of accommodate the bedroom count there and square footage wise. And then if we're looking to add like a couple of those, we probably have to add the bonus room. So I would say you're probably going to be pushing 280 to 300 is if we're going with having a master down, right? Like a kind of a single floor layout with a bonus room and an extra bedroom up to hit that 4 to 5 bedroom range. If they go with something that is already a 2-story.
Dakota, just let me interrupt you. So it was 230 up to 250. That included the site prep or not?
No, that'll
No,
be just a
without.
house.
So
Yeah.
it's we're looking at 300s basically. And how big is the
Yeah,
house at that point?
that's before you add like the bonus room, right? So if you're adding a bonus room to
Okay.
a single story,
Okay.
you're probably going to be closer to that 280 to 300 before site. So you probably want to plan to spend closer to four.
To for what?
For total project, right? That 350 to 400 range is more than likely where they're going to sit with a single story home adding a bonus. And then if they go with and that keeps the master bedroom down. And if they're looking to, if they're open to going with what's already a 2-story plan, or we're not having to add a bonus room to it, that number could come down a little bit. But I'd say that 350 to 400 is probably going to be a relatively accurate range for that, 1,800 to 2,000 square foot, and then having, 4 to 5 bedrooms.
Okay, I got you. Okay, makes sense.
That's a hard one though. There's so much other information to unpack on the back.
Yeah, and I get that,
so
but at least some rough idea. Because my client didn't build, or I did not go through the process recently. I did some one of my clients built a home with another builder, but it was a different story. It was a home for cash. So
gotcha. Yeah, and that's where the 4 bedrooms, and then like going up with like a bonus room and some of those things will play a factor.
okay.
You start getting into increased septic costs on the site, things like that, right? So there's a lot of other factors to unpack, and I think the best bang for their buck, if they are trying to go into it budget conscious, is going to be going with probably a 2-story plan that has the master up. Because then we have a couple of those that are, by default, they're 3 bedrooms, master up, 1,900 square foot for like $225 starting.
Okay.
And so if you wanted to add a bonus room to that, or like adding a 4th bedroom, you're probably jumping that up about 30 grand. So you could get that number. You could get down to maybe between 3 and 350 with 4 to 5 bedrooms, a loft, all that kind of stuff. But then you are sacrificing probably having the master down, would be my just on the initial side of looking at it, right, without any extra details. But I'd say realistically, they need to be looking at planning for that 300 to 400 ranges, where they'll probably end up turnkey. And then if we sit down together and we all go through and figure out, how they actually want to use the space and kind of tailor that in, we can also look at maybe doing some value engineering and figuring out kind of the best way to approach that to make sure that we keep it within the realm of what they're wanting to actually spend.
Okay, I gotcha. What else? Are there any other questions that we didn't cover that are important? I think
that would be probably the front end. I'd say a lot of it would need to be with the client as well. Because like I said, a lot of the project would come down to lifestyle, like how they want to use the house.
Mhm.
That'll allow me to kind of give them a lot better guide on what floor plans we should even look at. And then from there, being able to figure out, what the price actually looks like, and then getting some eyes on the lot. So even just getting like the address and be able to take a look at where they're wanting to build. That kind of stuff will help plan and kind of work ourselves backwards into feasibility for a couple different floor plan options, right? If we look at it like, hey, we know we need septic, we know we need a well, we have to clear a whole bunch of trees. If there's a lot of site costs, then we know we need to look at a house that maybe has a lower starting point, and vice versa. If we look at it, we're like, man, this is a parking lot, this is going to be super easy, then we can maybe look at putting a little bit of that money back into the home side of it. So there's definitely just some moving pieces there. Mm-hmm. But, that's something where we could then look at setting an appointment and just all of us kind of hopping on a call and talking through that and figuring out what works. That would allow us to kind of put a little bit more detailed. What's the word? My brain is not working today. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Not at all.
Just a more detailed approach to it.
Yeah.
It's not so much of a shotgun.
So you build just the floor plans that you have already, right? You can customize, but it's basically going to be the floor plan that you have.
Correct. Yeah, okay. we have to work within our plan set. Okay. We do have the ability to customize stuff. So we're actually doing a house in downtown Greenville right now that's It's going to be a full-blown custom home, actually, but it did start with the foundation being one of our plans. So once we have that, or if they have looked at, I would assume you guys are looking at other builders as well.
No, not as of now. So I just need to make sure they qualify for the loan to begin with, right? That's where we start,
Gotcha.
just to get a general idea of what it's going to take to build a house with you. And if we want to add a crawl space, let's say, and it's a house that is 1,800 square feet, how much is that, like, as for extra
the
comfort?
crawl space depends on the actual house itself, not necessarily the square footage, but the footprint.
Yeah, I got that. So if we're talking about two-story home that you mentioned.
Yeah, most of our crawl spaces are somewhere around that 25 to 30,000 range.
Okay. What about basement for the same home?
That's
Unfinished basement.
unfinished.
Let's not make it super expensive. It's going to be an unfinished basement.
I think the cheapest floor plan we have with an unfinished basement is around 80. It'd be a Caldwell or an Alexandria.
Okay.
So you're looking at, I think the Caldwell starts at $250 for 2,071 square feet, roughly.
Okay.
I believe that's the number. And then when you go to an unfinished basement, it adds 80 to it.
Okay.
And then obviously lot prep. If you're looking at a basement build, the site allowances are going to probably be more like 80 to 110 is typically what we see on basement lots.
Okay, I got it. Well, thank you, Dakota. I think that's it for now. I don't have any other questions. I will talk to my client and make sure that they qualify for the loan. If you can shoot me the preferred lender information, that would be great. And the question that I didn't ask, are there any incentives for using the preferred lender or attorney?
Yeah, so we have a $5,000 closing cost credit that goes towards that when they're using a preferred lender.
Okay.
Are they military, law enforcement, nurses, teachers, anything like that?
Not this client, but what are the incentives for those?
So when you are, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. So if you've got like firefighters, teachers, police officers, military, nurses, doctors, they are eligible for up to an additional $10,000 in closing cost credits.
Okay.
So basically up to 15, right? The 5,000 is there regardless with using a preferred lender, and then if you have one of those occupations, you qualify for up to another 10.
Okay, that's good to know. Another 10. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'll give you a call once I get the pre-approval for the client.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, okay. I'll shoot over the email. I'll link her in. Her name is Jackie, and then that way you can share that with your clients. They can start that process. We can go from there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Так, ну что, подводим итоги. Первое общение непосредственно с этим строителем по этому вопросу. Если у вас уже есть свой участок, и мы говорим о строительстве дома 1800 до 2000 квадратных футов, то приблизительно, не используя какие-то там супердорогие апгрейды, это обойдется вам 350-400 тысяч, да, плюс стоимость участка. При этом вам нужно получать construction loan, соответственно, нужно уже на момент этой задумки своей пообщаться с финансистом, это первый шаг, и убедиться в том, что вы проходите на кредит. Иначе, если вы вдруг не проходите, а проделываете всю остальную работу, к сожалению, это будет пустой тратой времени. Если вы собираетесь добавить basement, и потом позже закончить этот бейсмент, допустим, за свой счет. У нас у всех есть голова и руки правильно работающие, поэтому многие наши ребята решают заканчивать дома уже позже, после того, как покупают. При этом, если вы строите дом на 2000 квадратных футов и добавляете бейсмент, он обойдется вам в 80 тысяч, незаконченный бейсмент. Crawl space или там рабочее пространство под домом, да, не фундамент просто, а на подушке воздушной, обойдется вам 25-30 тысяч. Большая сумма. Несколько лет назад эта сумма была от 8 до 12 тысяч. Немножко меня удивили эти цифры на самом деле. Так, по поводу плана. Этот строитель предлагает строить их планы. Так часто бывает. Естественно, им проще работать с тем, чем они уже работали. Вносить изменения они могут для вас, за ваш счет, практически любой каприз, но они все равно будут предлагать свои планы. По поводу closing costs или денег на оформление дома было озвучено, что дают 5000, если работаете с финансистом застройщика, и дают дополнительно бонусы, если вы военный, учитель, пожарный. То есть категория, которая дополнительно получает до 10 тысяч на оформление дома на ваше имя. Строительство у нас занимает от 8 до 12 месяцев, что тоже так достаточно большой промежуток времени. В основном, если вы входите в строительство дома с массовыми застройщиками, D.R. Horton, Eastwood Homes, DRB, и эти дома без бейсмента, строительство занимает, наверное, 4-5 месяцев, да, и меньше строители, они также строят дома, наверное, за 3-4 месяца, достаточно быстро. 8-12 месяцев – большой временной промежуток. Вот. Оформляя construction loan, нужно понимать, что процентные ставки, да, это тот момент, который мы не контролируем, на это нужно обратить внимание также. Когда вы входите уже в контракт на покупку готового дома, у вас фактически процентная ставка известна. Когда вы строите дом, особенно 12 месяцев, то процентную ставку мы не будем знать. Поэтому, если любите играть в лотерею, добро пожаловать в лотерею на строительство дома. Вот. На этом все. Надеюсь, получили важную информацию. Будем звонить другим специалистам и разбираться в сфере недвижимости. Вам хорошего дня!